I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
It's hard to believe it's been 22 years since movie audiences were first welcomed to the awe-inducing splendor and heart-pounding terror of Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park. But in those 22 years, it's become one of the most iconic movies ever made, and one which has been so hard to follow up with a good sequel that not even Spielberg himself could do it. But this weekend brings us the long-awaited return to the Isles of Isla Nublar with Jurassic World. And I'm just as thrilled for it as anybody, because back in the 90s, the coolest thing to us kids were dinosaurs. Whether they were selling pasta, or kicking each other's asses in a video game, or even fighting crime alongside Whoopi Goldberg, dinosaurs truly ruled the earth in the 1990s, just so long as they weren't teaching kids how to share or care. This all leads us to talking about one of the worst dinosaur movies to come out in the 90s, and perhaps the weirdest movie I have ever featured on this show, Tammy and the T-Rex. Released direct-to-video in 1994, this is one of those movies where just hearing the plot synopsis promises you something epically awful. Paul Walker is a dead teenager who gets his brain put into a robotic dinosaur. Let me re-emphasize, Paul Walker, brain, robotic dinosaur. I need some sort of excuse to talk about this shit, and now I've got one. So let's roll this flick and make these dino fuckers go extinct all over again. I really feel that line should be followed up with the sound of a gun cocking. Yeah, awesome. First off, you'll notice that two of the young actors in this flick getting an early start in their careers are none other than Paul Walker as well as Denise Richards, who play Michael and Tammy, two high school lovebirds that fall head over heels for each other. Problem is that Denise Richards is already in a relationship with Billy, the meanest bully in school, and he and Michael confront each other in a fight, which inevitably leads to them grabbing each other's dicks.
What we got here is one of them testicular stand-ons.
Your guess is as good as mine. Billy soon comes back for Michael to get his revenge, and where most high school bullies would shove their enemies into a locker or give them a swirly, Billy bashes Michael with a baseball bat and drops his ass off at the local zoo to get mauled by a fucking lion. I'm sorry, this is not a regular gang of high school bullies. This is A Clockwork Orange, the high school years. Meanwhile, a mad scientist played by Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's meets up with his assistant, played by Isaac from Children of the Corn, to activate their latest experiment, a robotic Tyrannosaurus Rex played by animatronics that even Chuck E. Cheese would consider too shitty. From what I guess, they've built this dinosaur so they can build robot animals which people can put their brains into when they die so they can live forever. Shit, I don't know, they barely fucking explain it. All we know is the scientist sneaks into the hospital and steals Michael's unconscious body so they can take his brain out and put it into the dino robot. Success! And thus, Universal Pictures successfully brought Paul Walker back from the dead for their new crossover idea for Furious 8. So as you can understand, Michael is not happy about becoming a robotic carnivore, and finds a way to communicate his problem to his girl Tammy so that she can help in getting his brain back into his body, with the help of her delightfully gay sidekick Byron.
Oh, you poor thing, you gone crazy.
And that young man would soon grow up to be Titus Andromedon on Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Oh no! Why?
But they soon find Michael's body is decomposed, even though it's just 2 days old, and I thought the scientists had stolen it earlier in the movie, and head down to the morgue to find Michael a new body. And did I mention before that, Michael decides to get back at both the scientists and the gang of bullies by smashing their heads into the ground and gutting their stomachs open? Oh boy! For a PG-13 teen comedy called Tammy and the T-Rex, these plot developments sure are fucking disturbing as hell! Why the hell is this movie ignoring the fact that Paul Walker is now a cold-blooded killer robo-reptile whose girlfriend is playing with dead bodies? Well, I did a little research, and it turns out the Italian version of this movie restored 6 minutes of deleted scenes which are taken out to avoid an R rating. And the editing of these scenes in the American version is so seamless, you cannot even tell. Sarcasm, you totally can! This is exactly what makes Tammy and the T-Rex the most fascinating train wreck of cinema this side of Tommy Wiseau. On the surface, it's a dumb teeny bopper comedy that could have easily been shown on the Disney Channel. But underneath, it's got sexual innuendo and puking and murder and some hideously awful jokes at the expense of its gay character.
It's in a truck being driven by your son.
The plot is insane. The comedy is staged with all the elegance of a car wreck, and you can tell that no one working on this movie knew much about what they were doing or who this movie was supposed to appeal to. Well, it certainly appeals to bad movie aficionados like myself. So I highly recommend this flick, albeit for all the wrong reasons. Man, Denise Richards, what were you thinking when you decided to do this movie?
I'm gonna be a pilot.
Sure you are, honey. Sure you are. Hold on to your butts, because it's time to put the chaos theory into action and play another round of the awfully good drinking game. Take a shot or drink every time the movie awkwardly edits a death scene or bad word to get a PG-13 rating.
I'ma get you! Dinosaur!
The T-Rex uses his totally not being operated by a guy off-screen hands. Hello, is this John Hammond? Is your refrigerator running? Well, you better go catch it! Byron changes into a new hat. Why in the hell does the gay stereotype in this movie dress like the lost cast member of a different world? And take a double shot not only when you spot an early appearance by Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite, but for the 2 times you spot a boom mic entering the shot. You'd think watching all these bad movies over the past year, I'd have seen the boom mic accidentally enter the shot sooner than this. But sure enough, here we are. And on the nudity watch, seeing how scared this movie is to show off any gore, you sure as hell ain't getting any nudity either. Unless you count the ending of this movie, where, spoiler alert, like it matters, Denise Richards does a sexy striptease for Paul Walker, who is now a brain in a jar attached to a camera, which makes him ejaculate electricity. I was not having a stroke just now. I just described to you the actual ending of this movie. What? I don't know why! On the enjoyableness continuum scale from Bull to Bruce, Tammy and the T-Rex is significantly more fun than getting eaten by a T-Rex when you're on the crapper, and evolves to an 8 out of 10.
That is one big pile of shit.
I'm Jesse Shea for JoBlo.com, and that's all for today's show. Say goodnight, Denise.
I'm gonna be a pilot.
Hopeless. Just utterly hopeless.
I'm gonna be a
Joe Blow, he sure likes to drink a lot. Joe Blow watches movie like the heroine. Joe Blow, he's not just like the summer Hayek. Joe Blow gets fucked up then.
Hey everyone, Jesse Shade here from Awfully Good Movies. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see me take on more good bad movies, click on any of the links you see here, or subscribe to see this show alongside all the great content that we offer here at JoBlo.com. And remember, I love you. Wait, that sounded wrong. But I do love you though.